Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm with Mystic Moons, and this video is about diameters. Diameter is the size of the ring. So what we mean by diameter is how big this little hoop is. It's pretty important. You have ears or nose or lip or wherever you're piercing. Could be your eyebrow. And everybody's is relatively different. Not everybody's ears are shaped the same, not everybody's lobes are the same, and not all piercing holes are put in the same place. When you go in to have them pierced, they mark like a little dot on there, and they decide where they're going to, position it. It could be a little higher, it could be a little bit lower. So it's pretty important to measure. The way we do it is with millimeter ruler, and it tells you the exact millimeter that you need. But you can do it with a regular ruler. It's a little more difficult because you don't get quite the little tiny marks on on the ruler that you get on the millimeter ruler. But what you want to do, if you're using a regular ruler or a millimeter ruler, either one, is you want to take the piercing hole, from the piercing hole to the end of the ear, or to the end of the ear, or from the piercing hole to the end of the nose. And when you're doing this, especially on nose rings, you want to decide where you want the ring to sit. If you want it to sit up high, then you're going to want to measure this way. If you want it to sit a little lower, you're going to measure it this way. Hope that makes sense. But wherever you want that ring to sit on your nose is where you're going to measure to. And you're going to measure from the piercing hole to the edge of the nose, or from the piercing hole to the end of the ear. Whatever number you, well, at that point, you'll get like a 1/4 inch. You can go on Google and Google inches to millimeter conversion. And when you put it in, when the little box comes up, put in 1/4. Don't put in 1/4 and the little inches marks, because it'll give you a wrong reading. You just want to put in 1/4. And it'll tell you how many millimeters. If it comes out, if you measure it and it comes out 9.5 millimeters, that means you need a 10 millimeter. We carry 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 15 millimeter. So you want to round it up. Don't round it down because it won't fit. And that rounding up is going to be the smallest millimeter that you can wear. Now, if you want to go a little bit bigger, you can. So if it tells you you have a 9.5, and you would go to a 10 to be the smallest that you can wear. But if you want to, you can go to a 12 or a 15, which will give you a little bit more room from the bottom of the ear to the bottom of the earring, or wherever the hoop is. So if you're doing a cartilage piercing, it's up here, and you measure, and it says you're a 6. But you want it to hang down a little bit, you can go to an 8 or a 10. The 6 is just the smallest you can do to get into that piercing. Same thing on the nose, same thing on the eyebrow, same thing on the lip. This is a 5 millimeter. We have a lot of people who don't measure, seriously. And everybody orders like 5 millimeter. I don't know why. But 5 millimeters are really super tiny. So if you have a really close-up nose stud or hole, then you could probably wear a 5 millimeter. If you're talking a cartilage, you might be able to wear a 5 millimeter. We have people who wear 5 millimeters, but more people order 5 millimeter than actually wear it, and they end up having to send them back and remake them, and yeah. So measure. It's really important. It'll save a lot of time and a lot of money. Okay, 6 millimeter. It's a little bit bigger. In comparison to the 5, it's a good size. And I would say majority of the time 6 millimeters is great for a tragus. It'll work really well on cartilage piercings typically, but again, measure just to be sure. This is an 8 millimeter. In comparison to the 6 millimeter, it's pretty good sized. 8 millimeter is for people with really small lobes, or like second, maybe third holes, or cartilage piercings. You could do it in a tragus if you want a little bit bigger, bigger hoop. Rooks, 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, somewhere in there is typically most rook piercings. This is the 10 millimeter, so it's a little bit bigger in comparison to the 8 millimeter. It's quite a bit bigger. 10 millimeter is usually about the smallest anybody can get in a lobe piercing. Just a regular lobe, you know, first hole lobe piercing, you're going to go with the 10 millimeters. Some people can wear 8 millimeters, but it's really rare. This is a 12 millimeter. And looking at it in comparison to the 10 millimeter, it's quite a bit bigger. And the last one is a 15 millimeter. We don't make everything in a 15 millimeter, but we do make most stuff in a 15 millimeter. And this is what you would want. You would either want a 12 or a 15 for a conch piercing. Some people need 12 millimeters for nose rings because their holes are way back in. Lips, 12s, 15s. Eyebrows, 10, 12, or 15, depending on how far apart your piercing is. That's pretty much it. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions, please email us at support@mysticmoonshop.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you. Bye.